Hello, Kingdom Builders. I'm excited about today's conversation because I will be sharing with you all things hearing God's voice for your business and for your next moves. So let me know where you are tuning in from, and I will give you a shout out for sure in the comments. So welcome, welcome, wherever you are watching from, if it's from the UK, from the USA, from South Africa, a hearty welcome to you. So every Thursday I go live, and that's around 8 a.m. Eastern Standard. That's 2 p.m. South African Standard Time. And I speak about publishing, authorship, as well as marketing strategies. But for this month, or at least for the upcoming Thursdays, I wanted to speak to you about the just the significance about being obedient when God says move. I want to start off by sharing my personal testimony, just a short story of how God brought my vocation, so my calling, as well as, I would say my career. And he basically merged that. So, for those of you that have been following me, so I've got a travel background. I used to be a senior flight attendant, and at the time, I was also managing a travel business, right? So I've got 20 plus years experience in travel and tourism. So that's before I even started coaching. But I want to show you what happens when you give God your yes. So 2020, I was retrenched, and my travel business basically came to a halt because everything was closed out. And I was applying for funds at the time for the business, which was declined. So I basically needed to get capital to get the business to for the doors for the business to be open, to stay open. And from there, God gave me another strategy, opened another door. So I love both travel as well as consulting with clients. I love, imparting into people. I'm an encourager. That's one of the gifts that I flow in exhortation. So I was looking at it and I was saying, how does travel fit in with coaching and consulting at the time in 2020? That was 6 years ago. So I didn't connect the dots yet. But I know that when there's a delay in, say, you applying for something, it's not a denial. It's just that it's not time yet. And I believe in God's divine timing. So what happened was that the travel business, I needed to pause on that. And then I started coaching. I started coaching in 2020. And then a couple of years after that, I started consulting. And I think it was like 2 years ago, God said, it's time for you to revive your travel business again. I was like, okay, you need to show me. And I just, I was obedient. Of course, there were many things that I needed to sacrifice to, um, for instance, I had a travel business, but now needed to start building and, pouring into the coaching business, um, because it wasn't time yet to revive the travel business. And I just gave God my yes. And after that, then he showed me how my travel background can now be merged with the consulting. And a couple of months ago, I announced that our very first luxury writing retreat will be launched in South Africa. So it's basically my travel business will be doing the flights and will be taking care of that. And then, of course, I've got the consulting where I will be imparting into the executive leaders and showing them how to not just write books, but write books that leaves a legacy. So that came together. But the purpose of this live, by me sharing that story, is to let you know that where you currently find yourself is only the pit stop. It's not the final destination. And the transition that you find yourself in is necessary. The stretching is necessary. There's times you're going to feel uncomfortable. There's times that you're going to feel that you don't want to obey because it's stretching you that much. But I want to just remind you to trust God. If you remember anything of what I say on this live, it is to trust God. Trust Him above your feelings. Trust Him about past experiences. Trust Him above what you see happening in the natural because He knows what He's doing. He's not a man that He should lie. He will not give you strategies. He will not prompt you to do things that harm you. So even if it may be that you have found yourself failing in a particular area, for instance, back then I thought, well, it was failing, and but the time wasn't yet there for me to actually, pick it up again and to run with it. It may be now. So when you give God your yes, leave the outcomes to Him. And I'm sure that, if you are watching this, you've got the skills, you've got the talents, you've got the gifts, you've got everything that you need. But the Kairos timing that needs to happen, that is when destiny and your calling meet. It's when it collides, right? Because of the divine appointment. So don't stop dreaming. Don't stop writing down your vision. Don't stop asking and knocking on the door when opportunity arises. One thing that I've seen, especially on my social media feed, if someone reaches out to me and that person says, for instance, that they are interested in something, and this is just something that I've observed. So perhaps, I've done that before, and the person would reach out to you in the DMs, whether it's Facebook or whether it's LinkedIn, and the person would say, okay, are you interested in whatever opportunity? Sometimes we don't respond because maybe we feel um, that you're not good enough, or maybe you feel that you're insignificant, or maybe you feel that you cannot ask for these big things, you don't deserve these big things, so you don't say anything. And I'm led to share that because that may just be your divine opportunity. It's not about, what is happening in your bank account. It's about you saying yes to the invitation and trusting God with the outcome, because you just don't know if this person is your destiny helper, this person standing right in front of you, this person is DMing you right now, instead of saying, you know what, it's just another DM, or what does this person want from me? Seeking the Lord and saying, what is it that you want to show me? Who is it that you want to use? How is it that you want me to show up? What is it that you want me to do with the resources? Because we've been asking the wrong questions when it comes to purpose and destiny. And I know we live in a world where relationships are very transactional. I've had my fair share. But at the end of the day, God will send the right people on your path for you to be able to finish your assignment. You just need to get up. You need to be consistent. You need to show up authentically and be yourself. These past couple of months, it's been a while where I've really started enjoying marketing, because I've laid down the, um, I've just laid down wanting to sound a certain way, look a certain way, or, that where the whole comparison comes in, and just showing up and sharing on the platforms that God is leading me to, whether it's through podcasting, whether it's through doing lives, whether it's through doing videos, laying down the tendency that, it needs to look and sound a certain way. Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to our identity, wanting to fit in, wanting to belong. We need to always check our own motives. Like, why am I even doing this? Why am I doing business? Am I doing it because I want to be known? Am I doing this because I want to let God be known? Right? Because at the end of the day, He checks our heart motives. So go out there and dream big. Don't be overly concerned about what people will say. Because a lot of times people say, oh, this person just getting visible, that maybe they're not with the Lord anymore. Like, you need to check, is this the truth of God's word, or is this a lie? Because if God is speaking and He's instructing you to do something, it is not a suggestion, it's a command. So say yes, this against all odds, despite the naysayers, despite wanting to, meet the expectations of others, or despite all of that, give your yes. And when you hear His voice, obey, and ensure that you don't just obey, but you obey swiftly. So if you are in this room, if you are watching this, I want to invite you to reach out to me if you know that there's a book inside of you, if you know that you were supposed to publish as in yesterday. Reach out and let me share with you the next steps, whether it is that you are in the process of writing, whether it is that you've already published a book, but you want to turn it into revenue generating income, or whether it's is that you are executive leader and you want to join our luxury writing retreat that I spoke about in the beginning, send me a DM and I'll be happy to share next steps with you. I will see you next week, Thursday, same time.